the Republican governor of Maine, Paul Richard LePage. I've done coverage on him before. He has, well, you know what? In an attempt to explain why he wasn't racist, he demonstrated the perfect and the quintessential example of racism. So what I'm going to play for you is an audio clip of a voicemail that he left on the phone of a Maine state representative. The state representative accused LePage of being a racist. And this is how LePage responded. Listen in.
Mr. Gattine, this is Governor Paul Richard LePage. I would like to talk to you about your comments about my being a racist, you cocksucker. And I want to talk to you. I want you to prove that I'm a racist. I've spent my life helping black people, and you little son of a bitch, socialist cocksucker, I need you to, I want you to record this and make it public because I am after you. Thank you. I want you to prove that I'm a racist.
Okay, so that was a challenge. He wants us to prove that he was a racist. So in an attempt to explain this voicemail, he perfectly proved why he was a racist. Listen in.
When you go to war, if you know the enemy dresses in red and you dress in blue, you shoot at red, don't you? You shoot at the enemy. And the enemy right now, the overwhelming majority of people coming in are people of color or people of Hispanic origin.
I want you to prove that I'm a racist.
All right. Another example of why LePage is a racist. This all stems from a video clip that I actually gave commentary on back in February or January of LePage talking about he was so upset about the drug dealers coming into his state. And actually, let me just let you listen. Listen to LePage.
Drugs. These are guys that are named D-Money, Smoothie, Shifty, these type of guys that come from Connecticut, New York. They come up here, they sell their heroin, then they go back home. Incidentally, half the time they impregnate a young white girl before they leave.
I want you to prove that I'm a racist.
So in context, he's explaining why they need such harsh policies for these drug offenders or drug seller dealers who come from Connecticut and Maryland, Connecticut and New York, come up to Maine, and most of the time their names are Shifty and D-Money, and of course Shifty and D-Money could be a white person, it could be, but he then later on identifies saying that incidentally they end up getting a young white girl pregnant. So I already gave commentary on that, but it just strikes me as how oblivious, I want to say oblivious, but perhaps they're just intentionally obtuse, people are to their own racism, right? This is a governor who is trying to institute actual policies that are aiming and targeting people of color. And in his attempt to explain situation A, he responds with a very racist, or actually no, the voicemail itself wasn't racist. The voicemail was very homophobic, referring to this, using the language that he used. But then later on, to justify the voicemail, he demonstrates again why he's a racist. The bigger problem is that this type of character is most certainly not fit to be in office, let alone to be the governor of a state, let alone to be, one of the top surrogates for Donald Trump, the Republican candidate for president. This is the type of influence and the reach and the impact what started off as a Tea Party revolution has devolved into. This is where it's gone. This is what we've come to. We've come to the point where we have a sitting governor who has the ability to move the political dial in his state to the detriment of African Americans and Hispanics, expressing that he's not a racist by using racist examples. And he is completely oblivious to the reality of how racist he really is. And his justification was because he adopted a black teenager, a black young man from Jamaica, and because he adopted a black kid, he magically is absolved of all of the racism that he spews out of his mouth. This is what it's come to. This is where we are.